We have controversy brewing in Anaheim for very understandable reasons. Over the weekend, we had two different shootings by officers in the area. One was of Manuel Diaz. He's a 25-year-old. On Saturday afternoon, he was hanging out with a couple of other guys. Cops started chasing them. The cops say that he ran away and that he threw something on the roof of one of the buildings, which they think is heroin. I have not seen a confirmation of that, but that's what the police claim. Now, he was not armed, and at some point, they wound up shooting him and killing him. So now, later the police say, hey, you know what? He was convicted last year of drug possession. He had 3 years earlier been convicted of possessing a firearm on school grounds and being a member of a criminal street gang. I don't believe that that justifies shooting someone, but at least those are the circumstances around which he got shot. And then there was the shooting of Joel Matthew Acevedo, who's a 21-year-old. Now, this seems to be a clearer case. The cops saw, their anti-gang officers saw suspected gang members in a stolen SUV. They do chase. The guys get out of the SUV. The cops claim that that the guys who were running away shot at the cops. Hence, in that case, the cop pulls out a gun, shoots Acevedo, and kills him. Okay. Now, again, if that's confirmed, that's very understandable. But the Diaz case is less understandable. The guy is unarmed and does not appear to be posing any imminent danger to the cops based on what we know. So obviously the community was outraged by that. First, let's show you a piece of that from a local news report here, and then I'll tell you what happened afterwards. Let's watch.
I've been fighting for my community to be a really safe area, and I guess what happened today. This is what they did. They killed one of our sons, one of a friend. He got shot twice, and because I was trying to protect my kids, this is what I got. And this one over here.
So how did she get that? Well, on Saturday night when there were these street protests, police decided to break it up, and they responded by firing beanbags and pepper balls at the crowd, and obviously people like that woman you just saw got injured by those. Now, again, the cops claim, hey, wait a minute, you know, we saw somebody there in the crowd that we thought we needed to pull out of the crowd, and then they say that they found out later that he was actually wanted for murder, so they believe that that justifies the actions. Now, without being there, it's very hard to tell, you know, what justified firing, you know, beanbags and pepper balls into the crowd. But there's also reports that the crowd at some point was throwing rocks and bottles at the cops. Was that before or after they started firing on the crowd? It's not clear. And when I say firing on the crowd, again, be clear, it's beanbags and pepper balls. Now, the cops also had this to say in the local report.
We were there for approximately 2 hours when the group started to get larger and more boisterous. Additional gang members appeared in the crowd. We attempted to effect an arrest of one of the individuals that was in the crowd. The area is a known gang neighborhood. There has been an increase in gang violence in and around that neighborhood, and we have been recently taking more weapons out of that neighborhood.
There's also been more police shootings in that neighborhood. Last year there were 4. This year there have already been 6, and 5 of them have been lethal. So who's right, who's wrong? Obviously, it's a very complicated case, hard to tell, but let's discuss it. Steve, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, this is exactly why I felt the need to make that reply video to the tasing incident a few days ago or last week when the guy refused to hand over his ID for a jaywalking citation, which then escalated to him being tased repeatedly by police officers. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, we are so used to the violence from the police that we think that it's not a big deal, and we just kind of accept it. And we excuse their behavior. We say, well, that black guy was being a dick and didn't hand over his ID right away, so of course he got his ass kicked by the cops. And you know, that's clearly the wrong way to look at it. The cops have to be trained better so it doesn't escalate. Here, with the Acevedo shooting, if he shot at the police, of course, the police have a right to shoot back. But this Diaz guy, if he's not armed and he's fleeing from the police and he disobeys their command to stop, they don't get to shoot him. They don't get to shoot a guy who's running away. That's not good police work. And the fact that he may or may not have tossed some powder up on the roof of some building does not excuse them to shoot a guy dead. This is exactly what causes the community to uprise, because they feel like they can't get justice, especially from those who are supposed to maintain justice and order in that society. This is why we had the Rodney King riots. This is why we had the Watts riots. This is what I mean. We have all the ingredients, with the income gap getting bigger and bigger, people just not getting a fair shake, an increasingly militarized police state. I'm telling you, this is not going to end well.
Now, I hear that, and I actually agree with all of it, right? Again, Acevedo, if he shot at the cops, it's not even a close case. We'll have to determine if that was the case in this after the investigations. Now, in the Diaz situation, to me, I don't like the framing that the cops do, and I understand they're trying to protect themselves, but as Steve said, who cares if he tossed a bag of heroin anywhere? That doesn't justify shooting the guy. And the cop that you saw there in the tape saying, oh, it's a gang area. See, I don't like that kind of language. I understand what he's going at, and I understand what he's saying is, look, the cops have to protect themselves in tough neighborhoods, and there is a reality that there are tough neighborhoods. But once you've called someplace a gang area, it makes it seem as if it's open season on the people who live there, when of course the great majority of the people that live there are innocent citizens that don't deserve to get shot. And even if they're a gang member, if they're not armed and they're just running away from you, you shouldn't shoot them dead, obviously. Now we'll do the investigation, hopefully, and determine what went wrong. I think the interesting and harder question is, what happens that night if there is a significant protest, and as you saw there in one of the protests, there was a fire inside a garbage disposal area that was going, and they mentioned rocks and bottles. Does it justify the cops then coming in with bean bags and pepper balls, and or do they hold back? Even if they see a guy that they think has a warrant, again, that seems a little dicey to me. That were they really sure? And they said they didn't originally know that he had a murder warrant, that they recognized him from something else. Look, my sense of it is, if you've shot an unarmed guy, hang back. Hang back as much as you possibly can, right? Let people do a protest, because they're fully within their rights to do a protest, and they're fully within their rights to be angry. And remember, you're supposed to be protecting them. And so, I think it's a tough case on the issue of the protests, but I would urge a lot more caution than it appears that we have seen in this case.
All right, Cenk,
Yes.
seriously, I'm so frustrated with the number of police brutality cases, and at what point are we going to say enough's enough? I mean, just last week with the tasing incident, I was worked up about that because of the recent history. I mean, you can go back to Louis Abner in New York City, who was brutalized, and where the cops are saying it's Giuliani time or whatever it was. We have Amadou Diallo, who was shot like 87 times by police officers. He was also unarmed. We have Oscar Grant up in Oakland, who was shot dead, also unarmed. We have Robbie Tolan, who was the son of a baseball player, shot dead in his own freaking driveway, also unarmed. How many people are going to shoot dead who are unarmed just because they're dark-skinned in this country, and all the cops say is, well, you know what, under the circumstances, we thought the shooting was appropriate. And how many of those cops were actually busted and in trouble? Very, very few. This is why there's outrage. And we have to say no, whether it's a tasing incident that's unjustified or whether it's a shooting incident that's unjustified. Enough's enough.
Now, one more thing about that. One of the people in the area, Junior Lagunas, who's a 19-year-old, said, it's just crazy. The cops are going crazy on us. And the reason I bring that up is because it's not an unfair point. Look, Anaheim's a fascinating city. It's got very rich areas, and then it's got these areas that obviously are in the lower income brackets, right? And in the rich and whiter areas, are there shootings of unarmed white people? Let me just say that is very rare. Very, very rare. Now, I know it's different circumstances, and you do have more gang activity in the area where there have been more shootings, and I get it, but at the same time, believe me, that the cops in the rich part of town are a hell of a lot more careful about who they're shooting and who they're not shooting, right? And that's why the local community gets so angry here, because they can see it, and they're not that far apart. They see that part of town where nobody gets shot. They see this part of town where unarmed people get shot, and they say, hey, look, these are our friends, these are our kids, these are our sons. And I don't care what you think of them generally. You're not allowed to just shoot them because they were running away from you. And that obviously is an incredibly fair point.